Are you a
reality show.
Mythbuster right now?
No one is.
All right,
Well,
welcome
I guess
another failed Mythbuster, the 53rd podcast. I actually think I really like this failed Mythbuster theme. Just like it's a train that I want to stay on.
Tamara's not failed though.
I'm not failed.
Tamara's not a failed.
I got 3
You
different
win on the
shows
search?
with them. I was
No, she also lost, but she lost after I lost. So she made it one more step.
Slightly
past
less
me.
failed than now.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I'm
also
the
Mythbusters Junior.
But I'm
Mythbusters
the only
Junior.
2 MVP winners, so by contest rules, I'm actually the only winner of Mythbusters the Search.
Mythbusters itself could be failed. Failed Mythbusters. Mythbusters failed.
I think Alan's a good failed Mythbuster.
Thank you. Yeah.
You were the first.
Well, because
to coin it.
you like it doesn't make sense to not
Wait,
say
no,
I'm a
I
failed
think I
Mythbuster.
think I called you failed Mythbuster.
that was Will coined it, and I was like, yeah, no, that's accurate.
That
I mean, if you want
they asked me to be on Mythbusters too.
Really?
Way back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And
they,
they
I think
did
they
the
cast a
rounds.
pretty wide net, yeah.
They asked Colin Furs, and
I
he
think-
just was like, just no, he couldn't afford.
They didn't ask me.
I think they really wanted me to be on Mythbusters.
Well, they asked me, and they're like, "Do you want to compete?" I'm like, "I don't want to be on national television and lose because I would because I can't
Smart,
smart because I can't build anything. I just talk about stuff in
I
cool
could
ways.
see though. I could see the writing on the wall. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't gonna work out, and plus it was like 4 months, right?
Mythbusters the search is like stuffing your favorite poodle when they
And
die.
then I said I couldn't do it. I was excited for it at the time, but the only reason I didn't do it is because I didn't have the time. They wanted like a 4-month thing.
they did deny me.
Did
But
you
do
know?
you remember we thought that Mythbusters the Search was a prank? When we all showed up, we were like, we're gonna get punked. Like, this isn't real, is it? Like, and then Adam ended up showing up that day, and we're like, maybe this is real.
I mean, you guys all sort of did get punked.
We did. I mean, the amount of money we got paid.
It
we
actually
definitely
was
got
a
punked.
prank.
Hey,
The whole-
speak for yourself. I was eating good. I thought that was great
He
money.
was getting multiple meals a day, and he was like, "This is
We-
the best
we had
pay
a-
I've ever gotten."
Was Mythbusters the search a good experience or bad experience?
I think it was a great experience, and it happened at the right time for me, and I would never do that again. I would
Yeah,
never, ever,
yeah,
ever
I think-
do that again.
I think some of my closest friends I met on set, so like it's kind of crazy. And now it's
I feel like you make better
colleagues.
friends in bad experiences.
You get forged in the fire together. So like, it definitely isn't something I would do again. But it was, the people were good.
I remember seeing the comments to like when the Mythbusters the Search trailer came out, and like people, their reactions were it was intense. There were people, they would say like literally the Harry Potter quote, like, "How dare you stand where they stood?"
Jesus.
That must have been nice.
Yeah, that was really like, I don't know. The whole time I was like, I don't know, fuck you guys. If you can be
They
here
were
right
keeping
now,
it
you
real.
be here right now.
They honestly, listening to them probably was the best advice you could have taken.
Oh yeah, so you were kicked off the show.
Yes, yeah. It
Because
was
they knew what you were gonna do in 2022.
Oh, it's they
Or was
could
it 23? When did this happen? This is
22,
23.
Minority Report.
22, like the last basically
Well,
year.
now I'm trying to like when we'd have like morning meetings with the
Oh
producers.
God.
The discovery heads would come by and talk to people and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember the actual reasoning.
All I remember
why you weren't
Probably
going
some
forward.
kind
from
of
our
liability.
end, from the contestants' end, because it was a competition to find the new host, the new Adam and Jamie, right?
Yes.
And after the first like
Ostensibly.
week, I think you guys figured out, like on production side, that we could tell during the eliminations because the fucking cameramen would focus. They'd point the cameras at the person who was about to die.
and just wait.
Yeah.
You're like, who is executed? You look
They
over,
would-
the guns are all
They
pointed
would
at you. You're like, why? Why
line
would
us
this be?
up, and I think after like the first 2 weeks, the production realized that we could tell, and so they started mixing it up. So they would just start pointing cameras at random.
And I did mess it up once. So this is like one of my first on camera, like big on camera things. And so I was trying very, very hard not to screw up the piece to camera where I say you're out.
Yeah.
Because I'd only say it once and then they would know, right? If I fucked up my line, like, and today, and then they'd have to react again.
Honestly, I think that would have probably made the show better.
That did happen once.
Alan, give me 1 second.
I
Pretend like you didn't hear that, Alan.
All right, get ready. Look real sad for a sec.
I did mess
Well,
it
no,
up
don't look
once
sad yet.
with the redheaded guy who was had some back.
Ben Nowak.
Oh, I won't say anything else.
Baby Ben.
Oh,
was that
Ben
it?
N.
No.
No. Who else had red hair?
The guy who was recently divorced.
What year is it?
Oh my God.
2017?
Yeah, I don't even remember his name.
2016.
Yeah, so I screwed up that piece to camera, and then Tracy, whatever, and then she started crying. She was pleading with the producers not to kick them off.
There was no going back around.
Oh,
once
that was a
happened.
whole.
Oh man.
So it's closer to an actual reality show. It's
I didn't.
that was-
I deliberately did not spend time with any of the contestants after hours.
So like, what if they were a really good? They could have been
Because
a
I
good
know
host,
this
but they
guy.
just didn't do a good build, And then it's like you're out. Sorry.
Part of it was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when
So
it got,
it really was like that, or do you think the producers had some kind of like master plan the whole time?
I can tell you that they didn't.
Okay.
I can tell you like
That's
going
probably
there was
worse.
me and Dan Tapster, who was the showrunner of
Yeah.
Mythbusters for a long time. He and I went into it very like, let's do Mythbusters again. Let's do it, and be sciencey and I'm like, I'll do like the Adam style pieces to camera and stuff
Big
like that.
shoes to fill.
Big and I was nervous as hell. I even talked the first time I met Adam in person. I went to ask him for advice. I'm like, give me your blessing, man. And he gave me his time. He's
like,
very
just smoke a bunch of crack. Like, thanks, Adam Savage.
that was his best advice.
Is there a guy who's like really stuck up and has a big mustache? Just make fun of him.
Yeah. Oh, I'm Goo Rambo. No, so me and Dan had this idea of like we really wanted to do Mythbusters right, and that sometimes clashed with what TV people wanted to do and have happen and have going forward. Especially at the end, I know a lot of people were very confused about who got picked because demographics and age groups and all this.
You had no say in the picking. You just
I could say what I thought, but they're not going to go with me.
So they're telling you who's being eliminated and you're
Yes.
reading. Okay.
Yes. So
you didn't kill Alan.
Well,
I may have said
He
something.
shot the bullet.
He delivered
shot
the
the
bullet.
bullet.
Yeah,
You
he
delivered
was
it.
just
He's just
the
following
underling.
orders.
Right.
Well, whether or not I said like, hey, he's a loose gun, he's unsafe, I don't like his face. He also has a ponytail at this point, which I don't want to compete with.
Right. No, it was the best. Cutting it off was freeing. I know that you
I make a living on it now. So
yeah,
it's fine.
I know. But
Yeah.
still, just someday you could be free of it.
Go
Just
back
know
and
that.
look at me in 2016 before I learned like what a blow dryer was and shit. Oh my god, do my hair look terrible. And there was
blow
no
what?
there's no
I
hair
thought
and
that
makeup.
was like for a split second in my brain. I
I
thought you
think
were
there's
gonna say-
something wrong with our
Yeah,
brain.
I think
Before I
that's
learned
right,
about
bro.
blowing. No, there and for a big Discovery show, ostensibly, or a Science Channel show, no hair and makeup. I'm this 20-something-year-old kid, first big TV thing, no hair and makeup, no safety net. It's terrifying. And then after the first episode, I had a watch party in my place. And then after I realized that they had cut out 99% of the things that I thought were like the Mythbustery things,
Yeah.
like, hey, while they're doing this, a vacuum cleaner up a wall challenge, I'm going to tell you about pressure and how the differential pressure between the vacuum against the surface area of the board can suction you to, all this stuff, or like how to calculate velocity from a high-speed camera, like Adam would do, or something like that. All gone.
No, yeah,
And-
no
and
time for that.
I didn't watch the full series. Actually.
That's-
You never watched the whole thing.
It made me sad.
I watched the whole thing and I died in it.
You just wanted to see where you went wrong.
You went out on the James Bond car episode, correct?
Yeah, and you guys let me drive off into the sunset. So that was a
car
nice
was fucking sick.
That was a nice send off.
What car was that?
Oh, you didn't
Like
ride
an
in that
Aston
one.
Martin?
No,
that
not
was
in the
the
cool
first,
one.
That
Yeah,
was the
not-
first one. That was Sarah. Some guy brought a couple Ferraris down.
Oh, okay.
And we went from 0 to 140 in I think under 10 seconds.
Oh my
and I'd
God.
never experienced anything like that before. I was like, oh!
The
That's also the episode where I wasn't used to crushing people's dreams, so I do cry a little bit.
Oh, that's right. Well,
It was
'cause
all very
Sarah is-
sad and weird, and she was like one of the only girls, and I'm like, don't make me do this demographic
Genocide.
injustice here.
You know the cursed part about that is like TV is about entertainment, and they
Yeah,
thought
no,
about
I-
that. They're like, oh, this will be like extra juicy.
Yeah.
She
Well, and
was
they know
the nice
who's
one.
watching. They know who's watching. It's older white guys with a college education who are lean conservative.
They
And so-
clearly they're not smart if they still have a cable subscription.
yeah, right.
Well, I mean, I've been told like they're like, the audience kind of finds you threatening. Because I look like a girl, or is it... at that point
They're too attracted to you.
at that
is
point,
what
at
they're
that point,
saying.
no facial hair, very pretty. I was a very pretty girl, so I could see that at that point. Yeah.
I mean, the one of the winners, Brian Loudon, basically kind of just looked like if you asked an AI to like generate like a generic, like make a Mythbuster
make a Discovery Channel guy that could also mine gold.
Yeah,
if he
a
had
Mythbusters
to,
at
or
home.
find crabs.
If you ask ChatGPT to make a Mythbusters at home, Brian Loudon he has the look. He looks sort of like.
I mean, and they're
what
nice
that would
guys.
be.
I have nothing personally
Yeah.
against anyone in the show, aside from Alan.
Yeah, aside from me.
Aside from
but
you.
everyone
But-
else
but
was,
it
was a pleasure.
And this was like 6, 7 shit.
It was a long time.
Yeah, so like this was a different. This was
2016,
totally
7,
different.
6,
This is a
7
totally
years,
different time.
So the show's on its like 6th or 7th season by now.
Right.
Yeah, no, they never even finished airing the first season.
They got almost an entire season, a new season of Mythbusters out of it, but they actually never aired the last 2 episodes. I think it went really badly. The funny thing is, it's like, if they had actually stuck to their guns, I really think that like after like a season 3, if they had like been able to deal with like 3 years of shit, I think people just
They
would
could
have
have gotten 3
eventually-
more years of shit.
Yes, exactly. They could have gotten 6 shits in a movie out of it. I think if they had stuck to their
I
guns.
definitely like kind of agree, not like the sort of stand in their place, but it just sort of seems like a very kind of big business thing to do, of taking a show that ran its course and like trying to keep it alive.
There was I mean, like I feel like there's no reason not to talk about it now, but like when they were discussing like the show, when we like signed up for it, I think like the first like trailer of like apply to do this, the name was Search for the Next Mythbuster.
Yeah.
And then once we got to it and they started like production, it became Mythbusters: A Search. And that change in title was literally just because they said that the way that like DVR recording works, that as long as the show started with the word Mythbuster, people would still record it because it would look like the original
tricking
Mythbuster
people.
show.
They were literally setting people up
Wow.
for disappointment.
Yeah. So it's like the whole point was
good
it
strategy.
becomes Mythbusters: The Search, not Search for the Next Mythbuster.
Mythbusters, the search
specifically-
for the original show, not whatever this shit is.
specifically so that it would end up in front of people.
It was the highest rated Science Channel show that year.
That's really sad.
Wow. Well, it had the name. That was the whole point. Was like the name. Like literally, I
I can
remember.
imagine the audience retention being massive for the first 30 seconds and just plummets
Yeah.
when they
Once they
realize.
saw me, yeah.
They're like,
definitely.
this is not. This is
Who's this little girl?
Because that was the discussion. Like we literally had a talk with Dan Tapster at the beginning that originally the show's title was Search for the Next Mythbuster.
Did it work?
No. No, I mean, it did once, and then everyone was furious. Everyone exactly like, what the fuck is this on my TV?
Hundreds of thousands of people
Wow.
trying to figure out why their TV was full of
Yeah.
garbage.
Why are we watching this little redhead almost drown in a pool? She almost died.
I don't think I was there for that one. I was
yeah,
dead
she almost
already
died.
at that point.
Yeah, she had like a panic response where she
Oh,
just went
no.
nonverbal and then almost drowned in a pool.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah, it was
that's-
pretty scary to watch, and everyone just kind of stood around watching.
What? Do we do something? So, yeah.
We eventually, she's not dead.
No, that's good.
Oh yeah, she's.
I still follow her on Instagram. I think she's still alive.
Great news.
Yeah, good news. Consolation prize. You're not dead, but you're also not a Mythbuster. Sorry. My bad.
Bye.
That was the hardest day. Doing anything live was fucking terrifying.
All right,
So
you had to.
the last
kill
episode was live, and I had to
Tamra-
kill people live.
Tamra and
Live.
Martin.
Live.
Straight to TV live.
Straight to TV live in front of a Science Channel
'Cause
audience.
I remember watching
Terrifying.
that, and it was
Absolutely
like
terrifying.
you were with John and Brian, the two winners. Like, congratulations! But the camera, Tamra and Martin, the two losers, were still in frame the entire time. I remember that. So it's like
They
they're
just had
just
to stand
standing there
there.
looking extremely
Oh,
crestfallen.
I will say, I
It's like a,
I think
like a cut.
don't think it was fully decided until the day before.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I think so.
I don't want
Wait,
to say dead.
do you know who won the show?
Yeah.
John Lung and Brian Loudon.
Would you
But-
say they're winning right now as Mythbusters?
Well,
They're
if,
not Mythbusters.
if
They only
anyone-
had one season. Yeah.
if anyone who's watching this can immediately like imagine what someone named Brian Loudon looks like, then yeah, I guess he did pretty good. But if not, then that means he disappeared. He fucking became dust in the wind.
I would also coin them failed Mythbusters. It's not your guys' fault. It's the show's dead.
Honestly, though, I think like both of us ended up doing way better after the show. Like it's sort of like a
100%,
blessing.
100%.
Because you actually at the time were still. Are you allowed to talk about the whole thing with the Nerdist?
I mean, I can talk about it generally. Yeah. Yes, I was still working at Nerdist when, and this is weird because all of us kind of came up and found success around the same time.
It was a
right?
cohort that I don't know why we're still relevant.
I think it's like a 10-year cycle kind of thing,
Yeah,
like a cicada.
My theory is
You know?
that
Every 13 years.
there's a group of kids that are like in high school or something right now, and in like a few years they're just gonna eat all our lunches, and then you'll be watching
I think
their
so too,
podcast.
because it's like what we did to Mythbusters, and they're gonna do to us.
The cycle continues.
You mean what Alan did to Mythbusters?
Yeah,
What
we didn't
you
do
did to
anything
Mythbusters.
The first season of like the reboot Mythbusters with John and Brian, they had me and Tamara back on as like guest Mythbusters.
Yeah.
But like everyone hated the show so much that they never finished airing it. So there's the last 3 episodes of the season never aired on TV.
Did that show like actually?
I'm glad I
make
didn't do
Mythbusters
it.
keep going.
They got
In the same way that
almost-
keeping Grandma on life support keeps her alive.
Okay.